Okay, so I've owed you a video for a minute. You know, I owe me a video for a minute. I posted the one, whatever, it's been like 10 days. But since then, and even then there was so much I wanted to talk about, which is why I didn't post one, because Jamie got in a car wreck. She's pregnant. You know, I wasn't gonna say that because Roger's watching, probably, one of my 2 viewers. But we bought a truck, we returned a truck, we bought another car, we went through an audit. Like, there's been so much, but who cares about most of that, right? I ran a 5K and I got 8th overall out of 452 people, which just shows what can happen if you just try a little bit, right? Because it's not that I think I'm faster. I just realized I wasn't looking at the camera. I was looking at the wrong side. If I just tried, not like all those people there, they weren't trying. You know, I'm not. Apparently, I'm one of a very few that showed up to a race. Everybody else was doing a 5K fun run, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. I feel like that's actually a good little, you know, simulation. I don't know what you would call it. It's like, you know, kind of like life. Most of the people in it are just trying to get along as best they can and enjoy it. But if you actually tried and put in just a little effort, for some reason you're automatically, like, I think you do better. I used to think it was in my blood. I used to think that just as a Moor, like, oh, Moors are great. No, it's just that they all try. They all try just a little bit. And I think that's all you have to do. Some try harder than others, and you can tell by how they're doing. I try to be in shape. So does my brother Gator. But he just tries a little harder than I do. And then I thought, you know, yeah, but I got these hurts, and like, yeah, so I came in 8th overall. I got 1st for my age bracket. But there was, like, I think, I don't remember what the 32 age brackets, was that right? I don't remember. Something like 32 age brackets, or yeah. So, like, now I ran with 5 people, no, four other people, and none of them got it. So it's not that they were just handing them out like participation trophies. I did that. But anyway, that was just because I tried a little bit. But then today, my knee is kind of like, it kind of feels like I've got a water balloon taped to my knee, you know, and I don't. So then I was thinking, yeah, well, you know, that's what you get. You know, you went out there and gave it real hard. And I mean, it wasn't that good. It was what, 22:50, 22:51. It was like 23 minutes. So a lot better than when I started this year. But I mean, that was also over hills. And anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, my watermelon knee, water balloon knee, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow just because it's my annual physical, and like, I know what's gonna happen, and it really frustrates me because I'm gonna tell her about my water balloon knee, and she's gonna say, well, you're not getting any younger. And I think we're supposed to lay down and take that, you know? But here's the thing. My sister, love you, Reagan, she was telling me, I don't know, a couple years ago, she just turned 30 this year. And it was a couple years ago, she was telling me about how her doctor was telling her about her arthritis, how she's got arthritis. And I was thinking, you know, they just are coming up with terms, you know, like age, arthritis, trick knee. I don't know if people say that. That's what I used to call mine, was a trick knee, because this is true. I've had a knee problem since I was running with Master Sergeant Burkett all over Camp Pendleton, and I mean all over Camp Pendleton. like I kept it in a brace then, you know? And I think what happened was then I just kept using, I ran so much. Cause I mean, I was running half marathons all 2012. I ran 4 half marathons, and like never wore a brace. So I think that year I was doing all the everything right, you know, like my posture was right, because I think that's pretty important. And I was using it all constantly. I mean, constantly. I trained a class of black belts that year, a class of brown belts, class of green belts, class of gray belts, right? So I walked you through the entire curriculum in 2012. That was my last Naval Achievement Medal, was actually for that portion of my life. But in doing that, we were doing combat conditioning at least 3 times a week. We were doing planks. Like, we had this basic morning routine that involved like planks, sit-ups, stretches in all directions. And like how often, like if you were to like reach up to grab a football or something off a top shelf, and maybe that's not my thing because I'm already tall, so I don't have to reach up in the air. But, you know, like I read that like less than half the people in the world, and that's, you know, when you think about who all that includes, or half the people in the US, can do a pull-up. Now, I think we questioned it. Maybe it's 40% can't do it. I don't remember. But it is this huge number of people that can't even do one pull-up. And I'm like, man, but, you know, like I'm looking at my little 1-year-old and he almost can. So I'm like, at what point do we lose enough muscle to work our bodies? And it's like, it just, you know, that happens a little bit over time because you just don't use it. So you don't use that flexibility. You don't use that muscle. You lose it. And I think that's what arthritis is. That's what that's what age is overall, right? And then arthritis, I think, is just human rust. Yeah. Well, I've never had a pair of pliers rust up while I was using it. You know? It gets rusty when it's left laying around. And I feel like we're the same way. Now, I'm going to, you know, try and keep my body oiled up and moving. Oiled up. Omega-3 fatty acids? I don't actually know if that might be for your brain. Anyway, beets. I'll eat some health foods, whatever, to try and keep myself going so we don't have to get too many parts replaced. Because that's what I was thinking about. My dad is just went home from the hospital today. He got a knee replacement. He's 70. He'll be 79 next week. 47, 26, yeah. He'll be 79 next week, and he just got a knee replacement. And I was thinking, you know, because my parents are doing good. They're moving around. They're doing all stuff. But, like, nah, they're on level surfaces, you know? Like, I want to be jumping on a pogo stick when I'm in my 70s. So, having said that, I realized that, like, you know, you hear about these things. You hear about how Pop died because he was 81 and he's been going downhill ever since he was 79, jumping on a pogo stick, and he fell and he broke his hip. And you go, what was he doing on a pogo stick? Well, he was just some asshole like me that was like, I'm going to live till I die. And maybe he shouldn't, you know, like, ugh. All right, well, we'll figure that one out later. But anyway, I'm trying to rebuild it, you know? So, like, I'm gonna go see this doctor tomorrow and I'm gonna tell her about my knee. But when she tells me it's just age, or like, oh, you're not getting any younger. Man, I just learned about this book, I just read this book called The Foot Fix. It's a 4-week guide to fixing your feet. Man, I am what they call in that book a shuffler, right? So I don't use my feet properly, and that's gonna apparently cause weak feet, and that's why people fall when they're older. Well, I am determined not to let that happen. So, I'm gonna rebuild this shit. Me and Dad ain't getting new knees together. All right, new knees together. Whatever. So anyway, yeah, and then I ran a mile today. No big deal, but I'll finish that this weekend, telling you all about that. Okay.